Hi, this is the Lourdes Chris Show.
This gorgeous vision of Christmassy goodness, like a cup of hot chocolate on a cold day that you went outside and went sledding, isn't she? She's just gorgeous. She's stunning. I am absolutely lucky to tell you that this is my wife. I'm blessed that she's my wife. She's my absolute best friend and my partner in healing.
In healing.
What do we say? Not partner in crime. Partner in
healthcare.
In healthcare. Yeah, my partner in all ventures in life.
Yeah.
And that makes me the luckiest guy alive. And I am more excited than a kid on Christmas morning.
Yes, and I'm excited more than the kid on Christmas Eve at 12 midnight, actually.
You know, see...
Yes.
So
okay, we did it differently. But this is my husband, who I adore, who I love with every essence of who I am and every being. I mean, this man is extraordinary, loving, caring, empathetic. He's the best thing that's ever happened to me. Thank you so much for being who you are and always making my life so beautiful because of you. And my partner in everything.
Yep.
And my co-host. We're co-hosts to each other. This is kind of cool.
Co-producers. And
co-producers and director,
co-editors.
Right?
And
yeah.
at this point, all the above.
All the above.
All that totally above. So, listen, since Lourdes and I have been married now for quite some time, since 99, the debate has waged every year as to the best way to celebrate the Christmas holiday. Now, in my family, we waited till Christmas morning when Santa Claus had time to come down the chimney and to deposit presents, and we were all ever so excited to run down and open those presents on Christmas morning.
Now, it sounds crazy, but we got to stay up on Christmas Eve celebrating and everything, right?
Crazy.
And then at 12 midnight, which is still Christmas Day morning, because 12 a.m. is morning. It's not 12 p.m., 12 a.m. that we opened it. So we got to stay up, and as children, to stay up at 12 midnight was exciting. So just looking at the gifts and knowing that in a few hours you get to open them, you're eating, all this delicious food and desserts, and you're with your family and friends, because we would all come together with the families around.
Okay, so we flip-flopped every year. Every other year would be one and then the other. I don't know, where did the girls ever land on it? I don't know how they felt about it.
Well, I think we got to a point where we would open one gift on Christmas Eve.
That's how it was in my family, too.
And then but it was still Christmas
Growing up,
Day.
I'm saying.
I'm just saying
not
12...
Not our family, my family.
Yeah,
but growing up.
12 midnight was still Christmas Day. So
no Santa Claus.
So we would do it on Christmas Day.
No Santa. Sorry. When did Santa come? It's just weird. I'm just saying.
Well, because the gifts were already there.
Right. So when did Santa come?
Because he's got to go all over the world, he would have to do it ahead of time. So that's why they say, there's gifts already. Yeah, when you were sleeping, the gifts got put there. They don't watch you put the gifts under the tree. So how do they when it was supposed to be done?
It was the night before Christmas when all through the house.
Yeah, and I just the three Reyes, the three kings, so we didn't have really Santa.
You all throwing Reyes at me? Jeez Louise.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, we know that the three kings brought the gifts during the week, and you just didn't know when.
Okay, Santa Claus.
And even though they celebrate like on the 6th and 7th, something like that in January, but yeah.
Santa Claus. So we're so thrilled to bring you this episode with the assistance of Root Brands, which has honestly been life changing for us.
It has been life changing for us, and Root Brands is a gift that just keeps on giving, and it should be something that everyone in their household has. I mean, honestly. The first time I tried it, and you know how we are, we try things first to see how good really is it. Because there's a lot of good products out there, but there's a lot of bad products out there.
No, I don't think people appreciate how many products that have been sent to us or people have said, you've got to try this because it's amazing. And we were like,
nothing.
I don't see it. So
we
don't promote that.
Yeah. Like we still promote Dr. Newsom's products because
we felt the difference.
Dr. Newsom's products, by the way, amazing.
Yes, absolutely.
And by the way, even though we do Root Brands, we still do Dr. Newsom's products, period. It's like he's got the great enzymes, the brain health, the super digest, the super energy, super earth energy. There's all these. So while we're doing those, but what we love about Root Brands is because when I tried it, it was of the highest quality. And it was so much at a high quality that the day I received it, I did the Trinity Pack, which was the Clean Slate, the Restore, and Zero In.
Yeah.
And an hour later after taking it, I called you.
Yes, you did.
And I was like, oh my gosh, because I feel great all the time. I didn't think I could get any better because if you feel great at you feel at your best. It was like I physically felt like I did when I was 15. I felt like a teenager. And I'm going, okay, this stuff is amazing, so my body definitely needs this.
Well, I don't think it's a coincidence though that not just Dr. Newsom's products, but also Root brand products are of the highest quality.
Of the highest quality.
You can tell it's of the highest quality. That they don't cut corners, they don't add fillers, and it's funny because you can tell the difference.
Yeah, because you can try all these products, and it may eventually do something because you are putting something that's in there, but because most of it's not 100% what you need, and a lot of it's fillers, a lot of it may be synthetic. You're not feeling 100%.
Right.
But when you get on these things and you feel it quickly, it's like, okay, this is definitely 100%.
Your body was clear, like, thank you.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's like saturating your cells immediately.
So go to therootsbrands.com/CreateOptionC. That's how you're going to find our Root brands.
Yep. So go there and you just sign up.
Yep.
And people, it's not an MLM. I don't do MLMs.
No.
It honestly is an affiliate. It's just the same thing when you go to Amazon Prime, that everybody all around the world in different countries, right, are on Amazon. They did register. They put in their name and their address and their information and card. So when they purchase something, it just goes in there and it purchases it for them, right?
That's right.
Same exact thing. You go to rootbrands.com/CreateOptionC. You sign up, you put in your information, your address, your name, and your card information, and then you purchase.
Cool.
And anytime you want to purchase, you just click your thing, your information's there, and you order.
And doesn't it make sense that it has to be this way? Because if you were to take something like this and try and put it in the products on the shelves of a store, for example, or something like that, there's all these stringent, they want to make sure that they have a bulk cost to it, and it's got to be on the shelf. And so that's why a lot of stuff that you see at these department stores are not of the highest quality, because they need to sell it for a profit, and that's the whole point.
Yep. And that's why there's a difference.
And that's why that's why it makes sense for us to do it this way, because it's just completely what it is, and it gets to you.
Yep. And I tell you, it's like, and people say, well, is it expensive? Not really, because I don't find like with the actual clean slate alone, right? It's $74. But it lasts us 2 to 3 months. Mm-hmm. Now for us, it lasts us 2 months, but because it's like 4 of us. But if it's just you, and depending on how many drops you put on your tongue, it lasts a very long time. It is like it's got vitamin C, it's got all these things, but at the quality that you can't even compare, for me, to nothing else.
Right.
And I know because of the experience I've had, just all of us. I mean, it's the thing that we used on my mom, who, just on 4 days on being on it, we started seeing her improving from her dementia.
Right.
Just from 4 days being on it, she no longer was bent over and weak.
Lowers cholesterol. It helps with diabetes.
It helped with all these things. And to be honest, her body was doing it.
We should be clear. The body was doing it.
Right, exactly. But the body was doing its job because it finally got the highest quality of nutrients, phytonutrients, trace minerals, vitamins that it actually needed. See, you can go and take some stuff, and then you may just half of it flush out anyway. Mm-hmm. This is giving you exactly what you need, because it's made, when they make it, they even add a quantum frequency to it, so it goes according to your body, to your needs. So that's why you feel the effects so quickly, and that's why we saw quickly, really, with my mom. The improvements on my mom is amazing, and she still continues to improve. Does she still have dementia? Yeah. Does she have it like she had it in August when I went to go see her? No, not even close.
Yeah.
We're talking folded over, no longer folded over. Great posture, no more physical pain. She was in dancing. But she was in severe pain consistently. None of that is going on. Her memory's better. My mom has something to tell you guys, and I'll translate it in English. Dilo en español.
Yeah. Gracias a mi hija Lourdes.
Thank you for my daughter Lourdes.
Y gracias a mi hija Carmen.
And thank you also my daughter Carmen.
Estoy vivita aquí.
I'm happy and alive here.
Y yo sé que siento que voy a vivir muchos años más.
And I feel like I'm going to live many years now. Is it 100%? No, she's got a ways to go. But compared to where she was at,
right,
night and day.
So this episode, we decided to do a little something different. It gets to be the end of the year. People start to be retrospective about the year that they just had. And we kind of did the same thing. This is the first year for the Lourdes Chris Show, so we decided we just wanted to kind of go through our past recordings and just splice together the best little gems of awesomeness that we could put together. To be fair, every episode we absolutely love and we absolutely enjoy doing.
All of it was really good.
So challenging. It's a challenging feat to go through your what you feel like is just an amazing time and go, what's the most amazing time of
what's time? Like the out of all the great information, what's the one that kind of encapsulates that point that we wanted to make.
And what we found is that there are some themes that kind of come to the surface.
Yes.
Nourish, balance, and cleanse, for example, is something we're big proponents of.
Oh, yeah.
The other one
so
is
important.
You don't know who needs to know the thing that you know, and that's why we're even doing this show. And do your own research. Don't take anybody's word for it. Take your health under your own care, and you're your best healthcare practitioner.
Yeah, because honestly, like I've always said, I don't want to be practiced on. I don't want practicing medicine on me. Mm-hmm. And for me, if there's side effects that are harmful side effects, how is that medicine?
Right.
Medicine to me means healing. So when I look at medicine in a whole different way. I look at medicine as what nature has to offer that the body actually runs on in order to be healthy. If you're depleted on any one of those things, you will see the effects on the outside. So for me, we want to go to the root cause by taking care of, like root brands, taking care of the root cause so that the body, if you're lacking any mineral or nutrient, whatever it is, or you happen to have some type of toxin or heavy metals in the system that's causing these problems, that's depleting you for the very thing you need, just like root brands, in Clean Slate, it just goes in while removing, simultaneously putting in what you need. And when you have what you need, your body has no other choice but to heal. And that's what we love about this show, because that's what we've been presenting.
Yep.
You stop it.
The whole idea was for us to give you these clips. We just kind of went nuts here.
We went nuts here, but don't we always?
So that's also, I guess, a recurring thing. So this episode is just based on, is just clips of the previous episodes of our last year. We hope you enjoy. So let's get into it.
And plus, we're going to be having soon Dr. Grant.
Well, I was going to talk about that at the end. But...
Okay, well, you know me. We're going to have him talking about the ending of the year.
Not right now.
And
we have
the beginning of the year. But we can do that. We can, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go.
I've been a medical professional for many years, and my passion is to prevent disease or prevent pathology. And I believe that our bodies are designed to heal themselves, but they require the tools needed to heal themselves. If we remove tools, then our bodies have a tough time healing themselves. And so I always like to understand the source problem and fix that. I'm not a big Band-Aid guy. I don't like Band-Aiding problems. I like getting to the source problem and the real issue so that we can give the body what it needs to heal itself. So that's foundationally where I'm at. And as a professional, as I'm an ND, I am a doctor of naturopathy, so I'm on the natural side of things. If we really understand the way our bodies are supposed to function, they were designed through the digestion process to produce hydrogen gas. So we actually have a hydrogen gas generator, and if our gut has the proper bacteria, which would be anaerobic microflora. We have two main types of bacteria, aerobic and anaerobic, and only 1 to 4% should be aerobic, and the majority, up to 96%, should be anaerobic. Oh, wow. The problem is when we have gut issues, it flips, the polarity of the tissue flips. And so we end up with more aerobic bacteria than we should. And so that's going to stimulate carbs, sugar, anxiety, depression, all kinds of cravings for unnatural foods. Whereas if we have anaerobic microflora, we're going to crave fiber and fat and different foods that are whole foods, because in the family of anaerobic microflora are these wonderful things called hydrogen trophs, and they convert fatty acids and fiber into hydrogen gas. And the reason that we need hydrogen gas is because hydrogen is a reducer of oxidation.
I love how you said that though you did all the work and you saw exactly what was needed and what to do, here comes a functional medicine doctor, and he did all this, he's got this background, he's done these things, but he came up with the same answers, showing, right? That if we do our research correctly, if we really do stop, go outside the box, because we just go, well, no, the conventional medicine doctor said, and we get stuck there, and then we think there's no other way. But when we step out of that, we can find the very things that people got a degree for. We don't have to have a degree to learn
That's
something.
right. I appreciate you saying that. Yes.
Yeah, and the other thing that kind of struck me was that you said that it was a community thing as a group. You guys met each other through a community thing, and that's how Lourdes got a lot of her research done too. Is because if you ask the questions, there are a lot of people out there who know enough. When Lourdes was facing cancer, she was like, "I'm going to heal this naturally," and as if by manifest destiny or whatever you want to call it, by her saying the words, the people that healed themselves naturally from cancer, were available to her. She could just reach out and find them. And all of them were universally willing to talk to her about their story, what they had gone through, what they would recommend. And I think that's amazing, because I think community has gotten this conversation a lot further than, and especially like you said, with Facebook, than ever before. So that's amazing.
They told me I had cervical cancer. And so that was kind of the turning point. Whenever they took me in to do the testing and everything, they said they have it back in 2 weeks. 1 week later, the doctor calls me on a Sunday. We were at a church picnic, actually. I remember very vividly, because it was the day I met Fran, my absolute bestest friend, other than Jill and my husband. And the doctor called me and she said that they got the test results back early, but she's sending them in for more, but they're not showing any HPV virus or anything, not even cancer, nothing, but she knew it was cancer. So she's sending it back in. And so I remember my daddy looked in my eyes and he just broke down crying. And it was the first time I saw my husband cry, and they cried because the cancer was completely gone.
Clean Slate was formulated with proprietary patent-pending techniques that ignite the utility processes, creating bioavailable silica from nature's most powerful source and adding trace minerals and vitamin C.
And the result is revolutionary. Silica with ingredients that in combination work towards a higher standard of bioavailability, safety, and efficacy to support systemic passive cleansing of the body while simultaneously enhancing pathways to heal and regenerate.
Yeah, we absolutely love Clean Slate, because what it's really doing is just cleansing you out in a way that you're not going to get sick, you're not going to have a breakdown.
No, you actually feel better.
Yes, you do.
I love the stuff. It's like it breaks things up so they can get it out while at the exact same time it puts in what you need. And that's the best way to do it, because just taking things out can cause an autoimmune disorder, and you don't want that.
Yeah.
So
we do live in a toxic environment, so it is important for you to cleanse every day, which is why we do it every day as part of our Root Brand Trinity. You should do the same. Go to therootbrands.com/CreateOptionC.
yes.
Doctors, they took 2 years and $80,000 to determine what I told them all along, is that my intestines were paralyzed and they wouldn't work. And I refused hormones. I wouldn't take hormones or anything. So I did it naturally with diet and exercise. I ended up getting myself off of all of the icky stuff and doing my own diet and doing my own research. This was before the internet. So
Right.
I had to go to the library and find it all out myself. But that kind of springboarded my healing.
So I started in that practice. There was only one doctor that was there longer than I was. All of the other doctors were newer than me. And people see doctors with a God complex. They're afraid to talk to your doctor. There's this white coat syndrome. You go in and you just freeze. You don't know what to say. And they're walking out the door and they've got their hand on the door to go out. And you're like, doctor, I have another question. And they're done. And the problem is that electronic medical records, there's so much to fill out now, and they are so focused on getting all of the legalities done that we have forgotten that there's a patient sitting in front of us, a patient who needs their help and is paying you for your time with their insurance dollars. And I remind people of that. You have a scheduled appointment. This is your time. You've paid for this time. So you need to go in prepared, everything in writing. I love when people say, here, this is my list of symptoms. These are my questions. And, take a whole week to think about it, because have you ever had a discussion with somebody or an argument, and when you walk away, you're like, and another thing. Well, that's how health is. So you write down all of your symptoms, and then all of a sudden you realize that you've normalized your headaches or your fatigue. And so as you write everything down, it clears your mind, and you can walk around during that week going, wait, and another thing.
Right.
I didn't sleep well last night. I woke up with a headache. I'm not going to the bathroom as I should. So we have to learn to not normalize things. We have to learn to write everything down, and then challenging questions. Is this medication short-term or long-term? Are you putting me on this for a lifelong symptom management? Or is your goal to have me on this short-term in the acute phase, because there is a time and a place for medicine? So in the acute phase, okay, I have my prescription. So my question is, what steps do I need to take responsibility with my body and my health to be able to get off of this medication?
Kimberly Overton again. I am a registered nurse. My background is in critical care. And I left bedside nursing. I've been in healthcare 25 years, and I left bedside nursing a little bit over a year ago. And the reason I left, I started becoming uncomfortable with the protocols, that they were using in the hospitals. Things that we were doing were harmful to patients. They were harmful rather than helping patients. Specifically, if you're familiar with the medication remdesivir, it's a medication we've long known this medicine is toxic to patients. It's nephrotoxic, meaning it shuts down and damages their kidneys. So I see us using this medication, and the problem with it is, it's an antiviral medication. And by the time that patients get to us in the hospital, they are typically well past the replication phase of their virus. They are usually several days into the symptomatic phase. Now, antiviral medications, they rely on a form of viral replication in order to be effective. So by the time they get to us, little to no viral replication, it's not working. So I start, just asking myself, why are we using this medication that's clearly doing more harm than good? It's not working. Why are we doing this? We're seeing all of these patients get sick, get sicker, and we're seeing them get on the vent, and we're seeing them die.
Now, I'm sorry, I don't. So the medicine that you guys remdesivir. I'm not
Remdesivir.
Thank you.
Remdesivir, or as nurses like to call it, run. Death is near.
So you were basically told that you had to go with that form of medicine only, or
Correct. That was the standard hospital protocol.
Interesting.
Just about any hospital you go into, remdesivir, because that was what was coming down from the CDC. NAFTA. Yeah, that was their standard protocol. What's interesting about it, and the reason I ended up leaving bedside nursing, is because, I knew that there was medication and treatment available that actually worked. Ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, despite what mainstream media tells you, these medications have been safely used in patients for decades. They have higher safety profiles than a Tylenol or an aspirin. So again, why I keep asking, why are we using these medications that are clearly doing more harm than good?
As I understand it, the emergency use, jabby jab, that we're allowed to use emergency use, and help me out with this. I want to make sure I get this right. It can be classified as emergency use if there's no other treatment available for the disease.
There you go. So if there were, we had the vaccine under an emergency use authorization. If there was a treatment, a therapeutic medication, then that EUA could not exist. They could not do the vaccine if there was an effective treatment available. So there's your answer as to why the ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine can't be used, because it's not making anybody any money.
The science knows now 95% of everything you say, think, and do and feel is controlled all day, every day by your subconscious mind. It has a ratio of 1 to 1 million. Frontal cortex, the thinking, educated brain, is only operating maximum 5% of the day, and it only processes 40 bits of information a second. The subconscious is processing 40 million bits of information a second. And so what I basically do is, when Lourdes is saying like a detox, I go into the subconscious mind and I remove the actual cause of whatever's manifesting. So if you don't mind, I'll give you a real simple example so that they can understand real easy. And generally, the easiest way to explain these things is using a computer analogy. But first, let's just take a fictitious lady. Let's say she finds me, she's 45 years old, and she's always had horrific stomach problems. for many, 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 many years, about 15 years. And she's unresponsive to any kind of medical intervention. She's tried all kinds of nutritional protocols, everything under the sun, but nothing ever settles this GI tract problem. So one day she finds me, and then she tells me her story, and I say, okay, when did this start? She says, about 15 years ago. I said, okay, so go back 15 years ago. What happened? And she starts crying. She said, well, I happened to walk out into the front yard to get something, and I didn't realize my little child, my little boy, was out in the street, and I saw him run over by a truck, right in front of my eyes. So bingo, there's the reason for her stomach, because the body talks in symbolism. So the basic thing is, what is it that happened that this lady can't stomach? What is it that's too hard? Now, when she sees that right in front of her eyes, it creates what I call a SEMO, a sympathetic emotional memory override. You guys know it as post-traumatic stress syndrome. And what happens in those cases with that kind of trauma, it's like a 3D live video that is recorded, and it doesn't get processed. So it will keep playing. It can keep playing all the way to the grave. And since the subconscious mind doesn't know about time, it thinks that that's happening right now. So her stomach can never heal or be affected as long as that program is playing. All I do is go straight in and shut the program off. Takes me a couple seconds with my frequencies. And then as soon as the program is shut off, then the brain reboots to present time. And then when she gets her juicing, she gets a nice nutrient, the body can register it. Otherwise, it will not be able to register it, because the ratio is 1 to 1 million. So the physiology is completely dependent, because the subconscious mind, its job is to make sure your physiology and your reality matches its picture. That's its job. And it's got all the power. So I go in and I shut that off using frequencies. It's a basic quantum physics. It uses two different kinds of frequencies. One is destructive, one is constructive. The destructive interference wave will cancel whatever. If this is my hand has a certain frequency, and this is a destructive frequency, when they meet, they cancel to zero. That's a fundamental way it works. When it's a constructive, when they meet, they double, they magnify. So that's basically how this kind of thing works. So if you're trying a bunch of things and you're still not getting a result, you can bet it's something heavy in the subconscious mind.
Now, I'm not mistaken in assuming that that's a 1-2 punch right there. I mean, first we're dealing with the EMF, and those that did opt to get the shot were forced. It seems like it's an enhanced, like almost like a planned strategy. I mean, if you want to go down that rabbit hole, but it does feel like a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, in the additional things that they're finding in the shots, including this graphene oxide, nanoparticles, etc., seem to be organized in the 5G type field, and that's creating all kinds of strange anomalies within the body, and damage and inflammation and degeneration once again. And there are certainly other things that I can speculate on, but I don't have definitive information, so I'm just at least operating on what I'm witnessing and trying to strategize homeopathically and otherwise how do we combat it. But you're right. The 5th generation wireless technology is only making it worse or triggering certain things that are injected to be worse. Even the use of the things that were successful from an old drug perspective, hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin in particular, showing promise even in treatment of post-COVID scenarios, including being around somebody who's gotten the jab and suddenly you have aberrant strange symptoms. That seems to be also beneficial. I've been lecturing about a mineral, a metal, copper, specifically in the last year or so, because once I began to identify its properties, and also once I realized how much zinc and vitamin C was being prescribed, even by doctors, they ignored the fact that both of those vitamins or minerals will deplete the body of copper stores. And without copper, interestingly enough, one of the things that happens is you can't oxygenate the blood adequately. And so we heard how much about low blood oxygen saturation levels people having, they thought was a lung issue, but they're getting oxygen like thrown into them through a fire hose, and they're still not, responding. In the absence of copper, iron is unable to be utilized fully by the body for its oxygen carrying capacity. And then it basically rust, becomes an oxidant, an inflammatory component here. So these minerals we need, these vitamins we need, if they're in absence, things are made worse in this COVID era. That's only one aspect of it. When we're talking about long COVID or the fatigue aspects of you've had it and you just can't get your energy back. Another aspect of the depletion of copper is that normally in the mitochondrial cells or cells within the mitochondria within the cells, the production of adenosine triphosphate, ATP, is dependent upon two key minerals, primarily magnesium and guess what? Copper. And so by driving copper stores out of the body, now you don't have the ability to produce the energy that you normally would. So you're in this chronic, deficit all of the time. On top of the arguments that and the warnings that were given by many doctors and scientists about the adenovirus vector vaccines and the mRNA injections that are not technically vaccines, that they would facilitate something called antibody-dependent enhancement or pathogenic priming. Right. And that would mean the body is predisposed to overreact or hyperreact to normally occurring, for instance, colds and flus. That would normally, nothing would happen or you'd get some symptoms. But now we're talking about a deadly immune response that is so powerful. It's like a Category 6 hurricane in your body. And a Category 6 hurricane doesn't exist in nature. You understand how serious that is?
I have a detox program, my 30-day detox. Well, in each system, each week, and the system for that week or the organ, I talk about the emotions that are connected with that particular organ. Like liver, anger is the primary emotion. There are a lot of secondaries under that, jealousy and rage, and on it goes. But when people start cleansing the liver, emotions start bubbling up. And we always tell people, don't be alarmed if all of a sudden you feel this anger coming up and you don't even know why. And you think this is weird. I don't know who I'm mad at, but just let it come up, let it go, let it out. And it's that way with every organ and system of your body. And like lungs, grief and sadness are connected with your lungs. And so as you're doing a lung cleanse, you may find yourself weeping and you're thinking, this is the weirdest thing on earth. Like, why am I sad or crying? But that's okay. It's all good, right? So we cough and we weep. So the first week is colon cleanse. And that's usually where people should start, because you want that channel unblocked so that when toxins start pouring out of other channels, they can get out, right?
I love that.
We do a colon cleanse the first week, and the kickoff is a 3-day juice fast. And you combine that with your fiber shakes of fiber and bentonite clay, and then the juice fasting, and then you add in, it's all vegan. The whole 4 weeks is all vegan. So you add in your vegetables and maybe some whole grains, smaller amounts of those, and seeds and nuts, and that's your week. And lots of juice, and green juices are really important during that week. And it's a great cleansing week. The colon, it isn't so much that I found specific emotions, but lots of different emotions can be connected there. So who knows what is going to come up that people are going to experience emotionally.
Restore uses the best of nature to restore your energy.
Yeah, Root Branch chose the best ingredients and enhanced their benefits to create a complete product with everything your body needs to run full of energy all day long.
And it's a perfect aid if you're trying to lose weight, if you're on a vegan diet, or simply want to give your body all the vitamins, nutrients, antioxidants, amino acid it needs for a healthy, active life.
Yeah, and it tastes really good.
It does. It tastes like a dreamsicle, actually.
Yeah.
But it's so good, and it does exactly that. It restores your body, and that's what you need. I mean, when it comes to your DNA and your cells, you want to get those back to cell, and it's almost like reverse aging.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a reason why this product is called Restore, and it is part of the Root Brand's Trinity that we use every day, which is pretty much, you can say it's Nourish, Balance, Cleanse.
It does, and it's funny. I mean, that's how we start our morning. Actually, the very first thing we do is we get on these because it's like it just really starts your morning right.
Yep. And so you should do the same. You should go to therootbrands.com/CreateOptionC.
Yes, therootbrands.com/CreateOptionC.
Got to get a juicer, right? Because you can make juices taste fabulous without fruit, except for lemon or lime. That's my thing, because my body doesn't like fruit sugar very well. And so carrot and lemon for me is a great base. It really is very, very tasty. And then I put some ginger in there. That adds a little spice. Plus, it's an anti-inflammatory. It's rich in zinc, antibacterial, antimicrobial, on and on it goes with ginger root. And so it's a wonderful addition. And that's my top 3 base. And then to that, you could start adding in all these other things. You know, you can get in some fennel, and that's great for digestion and for bloating and gas. And it's a great mood enhancer. So I love fennel. I just got a big fennel bulb the other day, and I got to start juicing it now. But you can add in all sorts of greens, you know, spinach, kale, chard. Not all at the same time, but vary them. A little kale this time, a little spinach this time, and change up your juices. Get some parsley in there another time, and, you know, rotate those greens around. And if you just can't stand just the carrot and lemon, you can add a little bit of apple, of course. Some people can add more than others. Some people can tolerate much more fruit sugar than others. I'm one that can't tolerate much at all. And that leads me to sugars and diabetes. And I'm asked all the time, I guess I can't juice, right? Because I'm diabetic, because my doctor says it's too much sugar. And I say, no, not if you're juicing vegetables. But you're right. You can't have the fruit juices.
Oh, yeah.
Lemon and lime.
And yeah, there's been research done by the National Institutes for Health where they calculated that anyone struggling with a chronic illness or a chronic symptom, that symptom is being caused by a minimum of 25 different factors.
Holy cow.
That's a lot.
25 different factors. You know what every one of those factors are causing in the body?
Huh.
Inflammation.
Sure.
Yeah. Which is
Okay.
why everybody, no matter what the disease is, they have inflammation.
Inflammation, exactly, especially if it's chronic. Especially if
Right.
it's chronic, you know, so that you can't have a chronic illness without inflammation. It just is, it's not possible, you know. That's not humanly possible. Just my definition is all chronic illness always have 3 components. You have an irritant, which is what we talked about, you know, that the NIH says that any chronically ill person may only have one symptom, but that one symptom could be caused by 25 different things. Well, those 25 things are the irritants. They're triggering the body's response to being irritated is an inflammatory response.
Yes.
How long have you guys been married?
Wow. Let's see.
Let's see if she knows.
He's always the one that gets the number, right? Shush your
Okay.
lips. But so we got married in 99.
We got 23 years.
There we go, 23 years. Okay, so we're right behind you guys. So 22 for us. I don't know about you, but if I say something irritating, I tend to get an inflammatory response. Isn't that as natural as normal? Our body is exactly the same way. You do something to irritate it, it has an inflammatory response.
I did not want to do chemotherapy or radiation. For me, it didn't make sense. It did not make sense that I would burn myself back to health or poison my body back to health. I felt like I needed to nourish my body back to health, but not just nourish it. I needed extra, like, in fact, there's a verse, and I'll find it and we'll make sure we'll put it here, that I saw today. And I'll make sure that we put it there. It's it actually talks about in the Bible where it says the leaves that are our medicine, right? It lets plants, the herbs that we grow here are actually our medicine. And so when you go back to that, when you understand that, you start getting guided in the right way. You have to want to know. And when you want to know, when you open up and say, okay, God, what do I need to do to heal, to get better without doing anything destructive to my temple? And I promise you, just like when I asked, you do get the answer and you did get guided. And through that is where our journey started.
Yeah. So to do treatments here in the United States of America, it meant first of all, they'd cut out her Lourdes' tumors. It meant secondly that they would prescribe chemotherapy and so much of it, and then radiation to follow up. That's just the protocol that's available here in the United States. And by that, I mean, that is the protocol that's available here in the United States.
But I really would say that my journey began as an adult, really when I got Lyme disease, and then I got cancer while I was pregnant, and then have dealt with it really most of my life. I'm thankful to be here, to be honest, because having cancer during pregnancy, it metastasized throughout my body. And I've dealt with, issues with my children too, because of that. And through that, I really have dug into science and healthcare and medicine. I probably wouldn't have if that wouldn't have happened to me. But because of that, I was actually getting my first doctorate degree when I started really struggling with cancer, and lost a child, and then I was scared I was gonna die. So I really threw myself into natural ways to cure myself or to help myself. And then I also started working with pharmaceutical companies. So I've been with really some of the top pharmaceutical companies in the world: Pfizer, J&J, Janssen, Bristol Myers Squibb, Biogen, Alexion. And I did that because I really wanted to do something to help people. But through that, I kept going back to, I chose natural things. I did do some, I did choose some traditional treatments, but I really hung my hat on trying to help myself get better through natural ways by studying. And so I really threw myself then again into nanobiotechnology, bioscience engineering, and nutrition. And if you said to me, well, isn't that how the nuclear bomb was made? Isn't that how GMOs are made? Isn't that how vaccines are made? My answer is yes. But my thought process was, if I'm going to help people throughout the world get rid of these things that are in their bodies or that they've been exposed to, I've got to understand every part of that world so that I can create natural solutions. And I would say those natural solutions are for my family and friends more than anything, but the ability to be able to help people in 60, 70 countries is also amazing, because people deserve to know the truth, and they deserve to know that natural things can help them in so many ways. And it doesn't have to be just one path. There's multiple paths you can take in life when it comes to health.
You've worked for so many major companies, pharmaceutical companies and stuff, and you've even created, I believe, even things that are patented and stuff. Am I correct on?
Yeah, I have patents that I submitted 3, and I think one of them got approved. And when you say to me, what do you mean you think one of them? Well, I really don't follow the patents that I produced. Like, I produced 14 more since then that were provisional, and then 10 full patents. They do let me know once they're finally through, but it can take a patent. The first time I filed these new ones were 2015. And I was just alerted like 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, I can't remember the exact date, that they were finally approved. And what I mean by that is they publish them and then they're open for debate. And so I had multiple companies and multiple people try to fight my patents, saying that I got my technology from them or that they were not valid, lots of different things, because, you have competitors out there and people that don't want you to succeed in life, unfortunately. But they passed without me even hiring an attorney. The patents were, and there was 168 claims. The claims were around reversal of aging of the cells, the skin, the hair, the nails. Another like batch of claims were around tumor suppression associated with cancer, and then another batch of them were around getting rid of nuclear waste. viruses, parasites, fungus, and bacteria in the environment as well as in people. So when I filed those, I did an environmental component and I did a human and animal health component so that I could be able to touch all those different areas. And so 168 of those claims were approved. There's hundreds of zeolites, and some of them are arsenic, for example, because it comes from orthosilic acid, and then there's zeolites. And Clino is the type that I used, which it's really hard to find in pure form. And so we found one, I was able to source one that was about 97% pure. Because the problem with some of the zeolites is they have heavy metals in them, right? In my process, I detox even vitamins and zeolites, whatever I'm using. I'll give you one more example. Like seeds and roots also have lectin in it, which can be negative, right? So one of the processes that I do in the manufacturing world is to detox the things out and to make sure before I even do the formula that they're clean.
Zero In will help lead you out of brain fog and into laser sharp mental focus.
Yeah, it's a natural alternative to synthetic stimulants. You get all of your cylinders firing at full force.
And made with turmeric, pine bark, velvet bean seed, and vitamin D.
She looks at me when she says velvet bean seed because she knows it's my favorite ingredient. I just like the sound of it. Velvet beans.
It does. It sounds velvety. Yeah. But it's so good because this is food for the brain. And our brain runs our body, you know what I'm saying? So if you think about it, it's like you zero in on what you need to get done.
See what she did there? Zero in.
Well, that's what I like about the products, that the name means exactly that. For Zero In, it's about the brain, it's about focusing, it's about having it do what it's supposed to do so that you can focus.
Yeah, I love it. Take it every morning as part of our regimen. Yep. That includes the whole trinity for Root Brands.
Yes.
You should do the same. Go to therootbrands.com/CreateOptionC.
Yeah.
Since then, since I did that in 2015, I went back to Harvard and Cornell, and I changed them. So the new patents I filed are better, are Botox, the silica in it. But the problem is that silica is synthetic, right? I used a natural form to help it heal, and then I added catalyst with vitamins and minerals so that it could communicate and deliver throughout the body. I really don't think there's other formulas out there that had scientists that had the knowledge to do it in this format. That's my personal opinion. I couldn't sleep, and I was like, this is not what I'm supposed to do. There were things because of side effects and different things that I felt like people didn't know that I knew, because the more I moved up, the more I started being in the inside and understanding things. I want people to know there's a lot of good people in those companies. They're not all bad, but my path definitely was understanding all of that and then figuring out, how do we get rid of side effects from different things? How do we provide solutions instead of getting sick and giving people pills and drugs? Like, how do we keep people better? And through that, I really feel like it positioned me to be able to understand how to help people that do have side effects or do have injuries from things that are in the pharmaceutical industry.
I really got into being a caregiver when Lourdes got sick.
You did?
Yeah. Basically, as a caregiver, I had to be Lourdes' eyes, ears,
my legs,
her legs, her hands sometimes. There was one time you were trembling so bad you couldn't put makeup on. We were on our way to a film premiere for a documentary that Lourdes was in about cancer, actually. And it's called Cancer in the System. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It's a great film.
Yes.
But Lourdes was featured in that documentary, and so she went to put on makeup, and her hands were trembling so greatly.
Yeah, I wanted to. Yeah, I was like battling cancer,
right?
And
full blown.
Full blown cancer. But it was funny because it wasn't funny, but it was just odd that if I tried to put on lashes, my hand was going like, it was just like,
right.
I couldn't just put them on. So I went without lashes.
Well, and I've never put lashes on somebody before, much, myself for sure, but much less somebody else. And so I did attempt, and after I think 2 tries, we were like, no, best leave it be.
Leave it alone.
At least Lourdes still has her eyes and her eyesight, so let's leave that alone. So it just went without lashes that night.
Is that in 2012, Obama repealed the Smith Modernization Act. When he did that, he made it legal for he repealed the Smith-Mundt Act of 1948 with the Smith Modernization Act of 2012, part of the NDAA of 2012, the National Defense Authorization Act. The Smith-Month Act in 1948 was to stop the CIA and another government and the media from lying to the American people. They could only lie to foreign countries, but they couldn't lie to us. That was the Smith-Month Act of 1948. And in 2012, as part of the NDAA, Obama repealed that with the Smith-Month Modernization Act. So he basically made it legal for the CIA and the media to lie to us. So lying and propaganda has been legal for the last 10 years in the United States.
Thank you, Obama. Thank you.
You know, you want to use the word miraculous, but you're worried people will be like, no, but no, it's been darn near miraculous what we've seen.
Well, and I think it's because it's first of all, it's all organic at the highest quality, all natural, no synthetics of any sort, no fillers. It's like you're getting 100% of what you're supposed to be having in your system. And the way it's done, it's like, I don't want people to think, because it's not about that it healed you. You have to remember your body heals itself.
Right.
Your body knows what to do when you give it the right thing. So when you're giving it at the highest quality at that level, like Root Brands, when it comes to clean slate or restore, or zero, any one of those things, what you're doing is you're putting in the stuff while it's simultaneously removing the stuff that you shouldn't have in there that's kind of causing the issues. So it takes care of what's causing the problem, so that your body itself takes care of it. Your body itself heals, right?
Right.
You don't have to do anything when you get a cut. You clean it off, right? You're getting the junk out so it can heal and it doesn't get infected. Same thing with cleans. It kind of gets clean things out while it's healing. It's the same thing. And
the other thing too about Clean Slate that I think is so amazing is we just read a story about Clean Slate where a little boy liked the taste of it and he downed
the whole bottle. 2 years old, by the way.
Yeah.
And didn't just drink the whole bottle at 2. That same day when the mother saw that was all gone, took it and hid it and saw where the mom hid it. So climbed up and grabbed and drank the second bottle.
Yeah. And he's fine.
He's fine. That's how safe, because it's all made naturally. There's nothing in it harmful. So when you're putting in what your body needs to run right, and then your body goes, thank you, and then the body does its job, the body will heal and take care and run the way it's supposed to.
So that was, definitely a challenge to find, because look, the thing is that you go, but that thought led into this thought, and that led into this thought. Well, remember how this became, so it was a tough episode, actually.
It was a tough episode. And because you had to go through each one of the episodes, and then going through each one of the episodes, as you hear the explanations, you're like, but that's good to say.
Information, right?
But you have to, like what they say in Hollywood, you have to kill your babies. Yep. And I don't mean kill your babies like they're killing babies. I mean like,
man, it takes on
I say that?
It takes on a different.
Yeah, it takes on a different meaning.
It sure does.
But they mean like the baby, like your script, and there's a part that you really love in that part, but you just have to get rid of it. But now when you think about it, everything is like, yeah, yikes.
Okay, not that. So if you haven't started following us on the Lourdes Chris Show, you can absolutely do so. All the clips that you saw in this episode are based on former episodes, which are available on the LourdesChrisShow.com.
Yes. So go there.
Sign up.
Share, subscribe. And because, again, you don't know who needs to know the thing you know or the thing that we just shared that may help someone else.
And we're on social media as well. And so all the things that we learn and we as we go, we learn something new. This is where we share it on all these different platforms.
Those things right there.
So follow us on there as well. Like, follow, and share. It helps it out immensely. It helps a lot more than you might think it does. Just you out there sharing this stuff gets this word going, and we're going to change the conversation surrounding health when it comes to mind, body, and spirit. And that's what we're all about. To go to our Root Brands, go to therootbrands.com/CreateOptionC.
Yep.
And
sign
up.
Go to therootbrands.com/CreateOptionC. Sign up like you do for Amazon or any of those. It's the same old. Differences is all about straight up natural, healthy habits that you put into your system so that your system does its job. And honestly, it's so worth every dime of it. I mean,
night and day.
Night and day.
And so we're going to be bringing Dr. Grant back to do sort of a year-end energy wrap-up and the energy of the new year as well, which is what we were excited to talk about. So excited we couldn't wait, apparently.
I couldn't wait.
So that'll be coming up real soon. And so we will be seeing you in about a week. Because every Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the Lourdes and Chris Show, that's when we're out, and that's the new episodes, and that's what we're committed to, and we will see you then. We absolutely love each and every one of you. We want to wish you all a happy holidays, and, nothing but peace and blessings and love to you all. Thank you for being part of this journey with us. We absolutely see you, and we appreciate you.
And have the happiest of holidays, that you and your entire family and friends are blessed, loved, and are abundant in every aspect of your life, that you look around and you just see nothing but blessings along with your amazing health.
And so it is.
And so it is.
We'll see you in about a week.